60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and unsurprisingly, 6 out of 10 Americans don't sit down and do a monthly budget. I'll share my best budgeting method and some tricks to make it actually stick. My name is Daniel Bradley. In 4 weeks, I'll dive deep into how to have a budget that actually works. Last month, I built up health with yoga, and before that, I leveled up my wisdom category with the digital detox. You can follow all of those by subscribing to this channel or checking out other resources at dfbradley.com. But first, let's get wealthy. In 4 weeks, we'll change your money game. Week 1 is all about what you want. Week 2 is about what you have. And week 3 is about what you need. Week 4, we're going to be redefining hope for your financial freedom. My wife and I are different. I mean, opposites attract, right? She's a free spirit, and unsurprisingly, I'm the budget nerd. We managed to sit down each month for a budget meeting, and it's measurably the greatest thing that we do to speed up our financial goals. I bring the spreadsheets, and she brings the snacks. I bring the cold hard facts, and she brings the reminder that we still need to live a little day to day. Most couples are like this and practice honoring what each person brings to the table every single month. It's a really big part of this whole process with budgeting, and it's really where a lot of the value comes. It's not just about the numbers. It's about communicating our values and our dreams to each other, as well as our frustrations and our concerns. It's about communication. Here's how I budget in a way that's simple, it's easy, and you can implement it today. So let's get started. We'll start with ratios, and then we'll define categories, and finally, we'll set targets. And when I say targets, I mean specific goals with numbers attached to them and timelines. Number 1, ratios are essential. If you focus on hitting a specific number every month, then you're likely to get burnt out or frustrated when the numbers don't line up just right. And so I use the 50-30-20 rule for our budget. Now, 50% goes to what we need, 30% goes to what we want, 20% for the future. And if you're already tuning out right now because you've heard 1,000 videos on the 50-30-20 rule, I can almost guarantee you that this one's gonna have some twists and turns that'll make it a different value for you. 99% of people that I coach on a regular basis focus on that balance for their life, and it's all that they need to be set for the rest of their days when it comes to budgeting. The trick is truly defining what we need versus what we want. And that takes us into defining specific categories, really into those columns. I teach people to think of it like a car. And so in my car metaphor, there's 4 different wheels. You've got shelter, food, transportation, and utilities, the things that need to keep your life going on a regular basis. This is what you truly need. Things not included are things like subscriptions, entertainment, restaurants, clothing beyond the absolute necessities, even gifts. Those are all not in this category. And so the other elements of the car are as follows. The first one is your fuel tank. That's your career and assets. It fuels your engine. The second is the engine itself. That's your cash flow, keeping you in motion towards your goals. The third one is your steering. That's your budget and your savings. It's keeping you headed in the right direction. And finally, the body of the car are your retirements, investments, and goals. The things that hold it all together and eventually give you momentum and allow you to put all these pieces together to get to where you're going. So after defining all these specific categories, the final step is to set targets. And before we get into that whole metaphor, that's a big part of how I do my coaching. It's a little bit of a taste of the methodology. If you'd like to know more about that, you can check out how to get in touch with me, mainly from subscribing to my newsletter. And there's also a place there where you can ask questions to me directly. So finally, we're talking about getting into targets specifically. At first, you may find that the 50-30-20 rule, when you run it through the resources and my worksheet, you may find that it's more like a 70-25-5 rule, or a 30-70-0 rule if you haven't even started saving for retirement. And that's not uncommon. I never see someone that perfectly hit these ratios from the get-go. I didn't hit these ratios from the beginning. I was more of that like 30-70-0, and then it shifted wildly into basically the opposite. And so we had to kind of see this ebb and flow getting closer to where we wanted to go. And that's not uncommon. Identifying what categories are throwing you off balance and setting goals to shift those around into the ratios you want month by month is going to help keep you honest, and it's going to help keep you and your partner on the same page if you're not budgeting alone. So the 4 wheels and the steering wheel are not all there is to a car. you'll see a lot of people out there that are talking about a budget and they talk about their savings as if that's their whole plan. And so be sure to follow, like, and subscribe this channel for free content, because I'm going to break down not just budgeting, but all the aspects of your financial life so that you can really drive towards financial freedom and really enjoy that experience. Because so much of that content out there, I know what you're thinking. It's dull. It's going to create this dull cycle for me of always just worrying about pinching pennies. But that's not what I want for you. I want you to be able to live a vivid life. I talk about a vivid life a lot here because we want to go from dull to vivid, especially when it comes to your finances, because it's easy to get dull, and I get that. So I have a free resource for you to get started on your own budget, or to enhance your money routine. If you've already got a budget, just check out the link below. It's pretty simple. It's a template. It's a one-page document that you could probably fill out in a few minutes, but it's going to give you clarity. It's going to put it all in one place, and it's going to enhance whatever your already existing money habits are. So here are the 3 great books that I recommend if you want to dig deeper into this topic. The first one is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. It's a classic. There's some great parts in it. There's a few parts that, I may argue with or you may not agree with, but that's helpful to dig into. The second one is The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. Similarly, there may be some things you don't agree with Dave Ramsey, but this book is going to really help you dig deeper into this topic. And it's something that frankly helped me a lot when we were moving from like stage 2 to 3 on this money journey. And The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel for when you really want to take it one step further and get into what your mind is going through and how your emotions and thoughts show up in your finances. These are all classics, and you can find links to those in the show notes below. So here's what you need to do today. Sit down and complete a budget worksheet in the link below. So that's the one sheet page I want you to fill out. It's free. It's in the link below. You just click it, sign up, get the page delivered right to you. It's an instant download. Don't even have to email it. There's 3 questions I want you to consider when you're going through this exercise. 1, what do your 4 wheels amount to as a ratio of your take-home pay? So when you go through this budget and you look at the 50% side, the essentials, what's the ratio of that compared to all the money that you take home? Not your gross income, it's after tax, the money that you take home in your paycheck. Number 2, how about the fund money in your retirement savings? Those are the 30% category and the 20% category. How do those compare to all your essentials in that 50%? And then number 3, what is one category that you can adjust today so that next month you're closer to the ratio that you want? What's one category? It could be as simple as clothing, or it could be something like restaurants, or even more specifically, fast food restaurants that you're going to adjust. Make a 2% change that's going to then show up in your category of essentials or your category of savings. You want to see it get closer to that 50-30-20 rule. Now, name it, write it down, and put it somewhere where you're going to see it every single day as a constant reminder. Think about your bathroom vanity, think about your office desk, somewhere where you have a physical reminder for this reflection that you're going to go through. We'll chart a path to make those goals real over the next week. So make sure you like and subscribe to this content.